Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Ed Woodward insists Manchester United remain absolutely committed to Ole Gunnar Solsjaer as the club's manager despite our poor start to the season. We are currently sitting 14th in the Premier League and we have only registered 10 points from our opening 7 games. Now, Manchester United have announced a 20% fall in our first quarter revenue due to losses from incurred ticket sales, with fans not being able to attend games. So reflect on what Ed Woodward has come out and said. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will stay at Manchester United, and it means Mauricio Pochettino to Manchester United is over. Now, obviously, Mauricio Pochettino has been the favourite to take over at Manchester United. He recently said that Mauricio Pochettino has been watching Man United, Manchester City and Chelsea. But there has been a few clubs that have been in for him. Marca did recently say that Mauricio Pochettino is Atletico Bilbao's top target, because Atletico Bilbao are close to sacking their manager. Now, the other week, on Monday Night Football, Mauricio Pochettino said that he's missing football and he's ready for a return to management. Now, Rio Ferdinand recently said that Manchester United have had no conversations with Mauricio Pochettino over replacing Solsjaer, and he is frustrated with the disrespect that's been shown to Ole. Now, Mauricio Pochettino's been managerless now for like a year because he was sacked from Tottenham last year. I think Tottenham made a bad mistake by sacking him. He did endure 5.5 years with them. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. He also guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year, guided them to the League Cup final and guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League era. And before Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So he's managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United after Jose Mourinho had got sacked. Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League, his philosophy is quite good and he has dealt with top players, but my only element of concern about him, he has not won anything in terms of silverware. But I think he's a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's obviously been a couple of other managers on our agenda in recent weeks. It says that we was interested in Julian Nagelsmann from Leipzig. He also said that we was interested in Massimiliano Allegri. He's the former Juventus manager. But to be honest with you, it wouldn't really solve a lot sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway, because not all of the blame stems from the manager. There's been quite a few problems at the club for the last 7 years or so. Obviously, Solskjaer is still under pressure at Manchester United. He was under a lot of pressure going into that game against Everton. If we would have not beaten Everton, then I think he would have been sacked as Manchester United manager. Now, if we can win our next 5 or 6 games after this international break, then I think more and more pressure will ease off in him. The reason that Solskjaer is still in the job at Manchester United is because he's a club legend And reflecting on that, the board have softened their stance on Ole. If this had been any other manager at Manchester United, I think they would have been sacked by now. Manchester United are not known as a sacking football club, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. But like I've said time and time again, Solskjaer's not been backed enough at Manchester United. During the summer transfer window, we missed out on all of his priority targets and we missed out on a lot of targets in general. None of our managers have been backed enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Woodward's been at the football club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005 and the Glazers have taken quite a bit of money out of the football club. I think it'd be very beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of footballing because I think that's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. We've been in the process of trying to get one since like the Jose Mourinho era, and at one point there was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that director's role. Now, Ole has been Manchester United manager for almost 2 years. He has got a contract with the football club until 2022. We appointed Solsjaer in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. We did make a mistake by giving him the job permanently because I think he's in a position he shouldn't be in, but the main explanation we're giving the job permanently was reflects on what I did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. We've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so. This is one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. And I think if Manchester United could finish in the top 4 this season and if we could win a trophy, I think that would represent a good season for Man United and that would give us something to build on. It really, really would. I still don't think Ole is the right manager for Manchester United. The main explanation is because he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He did win a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. He enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, didn't he? He did manage the Man United reserve team as well, didn't he, for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team at this day and age grow and develop. Ole's managed 102 games for Manchester United in all competitions. Now, we're already making plans for next year. Next year, we're obviously looking to make more signings. There's obviously been quite a few players on our agenda. I think next year we could sign Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. He says, we could get him on loan with the obligation to buy, but Barcelona prefer straight purchase. But he says he could be available for, £45 million. My only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is too injury prone. He's endured over 3 years now at Barcelona, got a contract with them till 2022. Barcelona got him in a deal worth £135 million from Dortmund back in 2017. Barcelona paid 90-odd million up front with the rest of it in add-ons, but at the time Barca got him, he was a joint 2nd most expensive player. He is in his early 20s. He can play on the left wing, he can play on the right wing, and he can play centrally. He also turned down a move to Liverpool. Jadon Sancho, do you think we could sign him next year? He was our number 1 priority target during the summer transfer window. The main explanation why we didn't get him is because we was not willing to meet what Dortmund were demanding. Dortmund wanted £108 million. We was not willing to pay that. Far too much for Jadon Sancho. And it was saying during the summer transfer window that we'd agreed the personal terms and the agent fees and that, but we just couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. But don't forget, in the summer transfer window, Michael Zorg, Lucien Favre and all that said that Sancho will remain at Borussia Dortmund. And Fabrizio Romano quite a few times during the summer transfer window was talking a lot about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. So too was Christian Falk. But Sancho's had a really, really poor start to this season for Borussia Dortmund, so we could get him for under £100 million next year. There's a possibility. But I think analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been very, very consistent. You know, Dortmund only paid £8 million in from Man City, don't forget, back in 2017. He left Manchester City because he didn't get assured any first-team opportunities, and before he was at City, he was at Watford. Sancho has got a contract with Dortmund till, 2023. Don't forget, we was going to give him the number 7. Obviously now Edison Cavani is our number 7. Dayot Upamecano. Now, I think we could go in for him next year. His release clause will be £38 million next year, because that's when it does become active. Kalidou Koulibaly, do you think we could go back in for him next year? Erling Haaland, do you think we could go back in for him? You know, Solsjaer obviously knows Erling Haaland really, really well. As you all know, there's been a lot of rumours going on about Cristiano Ronaldo. We obviously won't get Ronaldo in January. If we are to get him, we will get him next summer. Now, there was reports coming out yesterday from Portugal saying that Manchester United made a formal offer to Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, Jorge Mendes. And it says Juventus will sell if Juventus don't win the Champions League. PSG have also been in for Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is on £540,000 a week at Juventus. That equates to around £28 million per year. Juventus paid £100 million for him from Real Madrid. He scored 71 goals in 94 games for them. And next summer, Cristiano Ronaldo will only have 1 year left on his contract with Juventus. He's regarded as one of the best players in the world. And despite the fact that Ronaldo's 35, I would still take him back at Manchester United. Ronaldo did endure 6 years with us. You know, he joined us in 2003 and left in 2009. But in that 6 years he was with us, he won 3 Premier League titles, he won the Champions League, he won the FA Cup, and he won the FIFA Club World Cup. Didn't he? And he scored 118 goals in 292 games in all competitions. When we got him in 2003, we paid just £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. And in 2009, we sold him for £80 million to Real Madrid, so we made like a £68 million profit. But yeah, Ronaldo's won 5 Ballon d'Ors, and he's won a total of 30 major honours so far in his playing career. But yeah, this news regarding Ronaldo was stemming from Fox Sports journalist Christian Martin. He says, you know, Man United are in talks over bringing Ronaldo back to the club. It also mentions that Wolves have been interested, surprisingly. I think, was it Troy Deeney? He says he'd be the kind of player for Wolves. I don't know, Ronaldo could come back, you know, I'm not going to fully disregard it, but there was rumours a few years ago Ronaldo coming back to Manchester United, but obviously never materialised, did it? But I think, next year, there's a few things there's a few issues that Man United have got to solve. You know, I think we need a right winger, we definitely need a centre-half because we need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire. We've obviously got to focus on the outgoings next year as well as the incomings because there is still deadwood at the football club. I think next year we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We'll be looking to get rid of Marcus Rojo. Phil Jones, we'll look to get rid of him. Romero, if Dean Henderson was to stay, then I think Romero would go. But if Dean Henderson is loaned out, then I think Romero will stay as a backup. Obviously, Romero is now our third choice goalkeeper. Daniel James, he could be offloaded next year. Doesn't really play a lot now, and he has been out of form. Brandon Williams, if we let him go, we'll only loan him out, obviously to gain him more experience. And obviously, Brandon Williams is now our third choice left back, following the arrival of Alex Telles. Do you think Matic could be sold next year because he's now lost his place in the team? Juan Mata, do you think he could be sold next year? A lot of Manchester United fans are also expecting Paul Pogba to leave the club. So there you go. And I think Man United are at least a few years off from winning the title. Like I said, I think we need around 4 or 5 signings to win the title. I think we need at least a couple of more signings to mount a title challenge up. You know, we haven't won the Premier League now for around 8 years. The last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season, and that was obviously back in 2013. Wasn't it? But yeah, I have taken positives from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, haven't I? I think he showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. That's a positive to take. Our record against the top 6 sides since he came in's been quite good. I like the way he's promoted the youth. I credit Solskjaer for what he did last season because he got us to 3 semi-finals. He got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us third. He's made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. You know, he's spent over £200 million and he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in. He brought Odi Nagalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of this year, he brought Donny van de Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. Amad Traore will be joining the football club in January. But yeah, 4 of the players we got in the summer transfer window were on deadline day. We've also seen a lot of players leave the club since he got recommended in. You know. But I don't think any manager at Manchester United or any manager in general will last as long as Ferguson did or replicate his legacy, like I've said time and time again, you know? So there. Obviously, yesterday I gave you the news, didn't I, on Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek has revealed that he's been told by Solskjaer that he needs to be patient and he'll have to wait for his opportunities. But Donny van de Beek said he would have loved to have played more at Manchester United this season. Donny van de Beek scored a very, very good goal in Holland's 1-1 draw with Spain recently. Donny van de Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the club, and we've played 7 games in the league this season. Van de Beek has started though our last 2 games in the Champions League. We paid £40 million for him, and he signed a 5-year contract with a football club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears that number 34 shirt. I think Solskjaer's trying to figure out Donny van de Beek's best position. Now, obviously, know the news regarding Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is one of the biggest problems at Manchester United. I give you the update yesterday. It said that Solskjaer's made his decision on Paul Pogba. You know, he's ready to sell Paul Pogba. I think he could actually, could he go in January? Maybe not, he's more likely to go next summer. He recently said we'd lowered our asking price for Paul Pogba to £53 million. That's £36 million less than what we paid for him. He's received a lot of criticism recently from Jamie Carragher, Jamie Carragher said he should be sold and he's not good enough for Man United. He's also he received criticism from Dion Dublin the other week. I think he's received criticism from Roy Keane and that. Didier Deschamps, the France manager, he says that Paul Pogba cannot be happy at Man United for being left on the bench and for playing out of position, and he said he needs to hold talks with Paul Pogba over his situation at Old Trafford. And it also said that they had concerns over his body language in France's 2-0 defeat to Finland. Where will Paul Pogba go, though? Will he go back to Juventus? Because he did enjoy 4 good years with them. Will he go to Real Madrid? Real Madrid are obviously trying to get Eduardo Camavinga. It said yesterday Real Madrid had a verbal agreement with him, but we're also trying to get Eduardo Camavinga. But, earlier on this season, Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. And he was talking a lot about Real Madrid last year and Zinedine Zidane, and he said he wanted to leave Man United because he was seeking for a new challenge. PSG and Barcelona have also been in for Pogba before. Pogba was not happy when we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. There has been no talks over getting Paul Pogba a long-term contract at the club. We paid £89 million for him, so at the moment he's our most expensive signing. He's only started 2 of our last 7 games. So there you go. These are players at Manchester United that have recently impressed me. Marcus Rashford, he's really, really impressed me recently. He was very, very good in the Everton game. He got an assist in that game. Also should have got his name on the score sheet. He scored a hat-trick in our game against RB Leipzig. He became the second Man United player to score a hat-trick as a substitute. And he also scored a late winner in Paris, and he scored a few goals in the league this season. He's had a few bad games, but Rashford's been part of the club for several years. He's just recently turned 23 years of age as Marcus Rashford. Rashford's more effective out wide than he is playing centrally. That's my perception. Rashford has got a shoulder injury, hasn't he, that I sustained in our 3-1 win against Everton. So I don't think he's going to be available for England's game against Belgium, I heard. He should be okay for the West Brom game, though, after the international break. Now, Bruno Fernandes, he's also really, really impressed me. Bruno Fernandes did score 2 goals against Everton, and he also got an assist. He was very, very poor, though, against Istanbul Başakşehir because he was dispossessed around 34 times. That game against Başakşehir was Bruno Fernandes' worst game as a Manchester United player. Analysing the vast majority of his games, though, Bruno Fernandes he has been consistent. There's only been a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. But yeah, Fernandes has enjoyed 9 months at the club. A lot of his goals have come from the penalty spot. Last season won Premier League Player of the Month a couple of times. He also won some Matt Busby Player of the Year award. We paid €55 million for Bruno Fernandes. That equates to what, 47 million in pounds sterling. But he's probably the best player that Manchester United have got. One of the best signings we've made since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Now, Donny van der Beek, I think he's done very, very well in the games he's played in. But like I mentioned earlier on the more recent videos, he's hardly played. So he needs to start for Man United. There's Donny van der Beek. Fred, he's really, really impressed me recently. Fred's been very, very consistent. I like the way he's kept the ball, he's passed the ball well, he's dictated the play. Fred's not world class by all means. He isn't, but he's still good. There's been games where he's looked off the pace. Fred was very, very good against Everton. He was also being good in other games this season. He was poor, though, against Arsenal the other week because he lost the ball far too many times. And Fred didn't play any part in the game against Istanbul Başakşehir. Paid big money for Fred. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. And Fred's got a contract with the football club until 2023. Harry Maguire, he's also really impressed me recently. Good to see him bounce back from his early season troubles. In one of the press conferences, I think it was prior to the Leipzig game, Maguire was asked about his form, his leadership and the impact of the summer. And he just basically said, it's not letting it affect him, he's just focusing on his football. Harry Maguire is our current captain. Most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. Harry Maguire. David De Gea, he's also really impressed me. Made some very good saves in games this season. There's a couple of games where he hasn't really had much to do. I've been impressed with David De Gea's distribution. He's going to remain our number one this season. This is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United, isn't it? Wan-Bissaka, I've been impressed with him this season. He did have a poor start to the season, but he's now bounced back. In the games he's played well in Wan-Bissaka, we've seen attacking intent from him, which is good. His defence contribution's been good. It's always been good anyway, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Wan-Bissaka scored his first goal for the club in the 4-1 win against Newcastle, and that game against Newcastle was his 50th appearance for the football club. Luke Shaw's impressed me recently. He's got 2 assists in his last 2 games. The negativity regarding Luke Shaw is that he's out with a hamstring injury and he's out for up to a month. That's my element of concern about Luke Shaw though. He's too injury prone. Last season had an ankle injury. That was towards the end of last season. And at the first part of last season, he was out with injury, was Luke Shaw. Juan Mata, he's impressed me in the games he's played in this season. He did well in both our Carabao Cup games against Luton and Brighton. Got man of the match for both them games. He did well in the Newcastle game, and I don't think he was too bad in the Chelsea game, was he? Wasn't that good though in the Everton one. Juan Mata's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at Manchester United. He's scored 50 goals for the club in all competitions and he's made over 200 appearances in all competitions. We paid just over £37 million in from Chelsea back in 2014. My element of concern about Juan Mata though, he has lost that yard of pace. So they are the players, that have actually impressed me. I think there's players at Man United that have got to step up to the plate. Martial, he's got to step up to the plate because he's endured a pretty slow start to the season. I know Martial had a 3-game suspension. He served it now though, but he did get sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. He should never have been sent off. There's a lot of Man United fans now that are saying Martial should be dropped and we should be starting Edinson Cavani ahead of Anthony Martial. Edinson Cavani's done quite well, to be fair. He came on against Chelsea, almost scored with his first touch. Scored his first goal for the club in the 3-1 win against Everton. But Martial, will keep him. Last season I thought he was good under Ollie and he was good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's enjoyed a good 5 years or so at the football club. Daniel James, he's out of form. I think McTominay needs to step up to the plate. Okay, he's had a good couple of games this season, but I still got element of concerns about Scott McTominay. McTominay has been part of the club for several years. He's been playing a lot alongside Fred recently, hasn't he? Matic, I ain't really been that impressed with him, but like I said earlier on, he's lost his place in the team now as Nemanja Matic. Victor Lindelof, he's had some good games this season, but I still believe that there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Victor Lindelof's. So yeah, there has been players that have been underperforming. Axel Tuanzebe. Now, I can't really give you much of a perception on him at the moment. As he plays, Mark can give you more of a perception. But one thing I do know, he was exceptional when he played against PSG. That game against PSG was his first start for Man United in 10 months. Axel Tuanzebe played in the Besiktas game, and I thought he was very, very poor. So there you go. Eric Bay, as you all know, is out of injury. That's mainly my concern about Bay, too injury prone. Phil Jones is still out with injury. Recently had an operation. Alex Telles, I think he's going to be a very, very good signing for Man United. He should be making his Premier League debut against West Brom after the international break. I thought Telles would have played against Everton, to be honest with you, but he didn't. But he did well in his debut against PSG. Mason Greenwood, have had a few issues with him recently as well. Bruno Fernandes has been frustrated with him, reflects on his poor training session. And we have concerns over Greenwood's attitude and lifestyle. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.